Hello everyone, we are at chapter 4.4, and you did such a great job. You guys beat me to it. I did not expect you to get here so fast, so I'm very proud of you for moving so swiftly. So the title of this chapter section is Factorization by Extracting Common Factors. And it sounds very fancy, but essentially it's more of what we have been doing already in chapter 4, right? The example that they give you on page 107 is ax plus ay. We're taking out the common factor, which obviously is the a, and the result is ax plus y, right? If we factorize it, if we open the parentheses, then we will get this expression back, right? So that's all there is to it. That's why there's not so much explanation in this section. However, let's do a few together just to make sure that we're familiar with what we're doing before we dive in. So we're going to, do TryIt 12 on page 108. Okay, and it's asking us to factor 21a plus 18b. Okay, I'm gonna change colors just because I think it's gonna be nicer that way. All right, so in order to do this, what we have to do first is we'll look at how many factors do we have here. So how many terms we have? 21a and 18b, right? So we have to determine the factors of these terms. So 21a, right? 21 has the factors of 3, 7, and 21, right? And then, of course, a, but you know, a only has a. Okay, for 18b, let's factorize 8. The factors of 8 are 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18. Right? Okay, so now we're going to actually find common factor, the greatest common factor between 21 and 18. And in this case, that greatest factor, common factor, is 3, right? So we'll put 3 outside the parentheses, open the parentheses, and then we're going to divide 21 by 3, right? So we get 7a, right? Don't forget your variable, plus, and then 18 divided by 3 is 6b. And here is all that there is to it. Now, if you wondered what we just did, you can multiply 3 by 7a, you'll get 21a. Then you multiply 3 by 6b, and then you'll get 18b, coming back to this expression here, right? Okay. All right. So I hope that this is starting to make sense, and if it's not a big deal. All right, let's erase this and try our hand at something else. Let's say we do TryIt 13. TryIt 13 on the same page. Okay, and here we have 14by minus 35bz plus 7b. All right, we've got 3 terms, right? And let's see, 14. Let's factorize 14. 14 is divisible by 2, 7, and 14. And of course, we also have b and we have y, right? Then we have 35, and 35 is divisible by 5, 7, and 35. and then it has a B and a Z, right? And then in 7b, of course, is divisible only by 7, okay, by 1 and by 7, and B. Okay, looking back at these three, we can see that their greatest common factor is 7, but also they all have this variable B in common, right? So why don't we take out 7b? Kind of want to show it to you a little more visually. So let's try this. Okay, here we go. So remember, we're taking out 7b, right? We just determined that, okay? So we took out 7b. And then let's see what's left over once we divide 14by by 7b, right? Okay, we simplify, and what's left is 2y, right? Here we go. Then we're gonna divide negative 35bz by 7b, and let's simplify, right? And what's left is negative 5, excuse me, that was a 5, not a something else, 5z. Okay, our next factor is 7b, and 7b divided by 7b, we pretty much can simplify everything, equals 1, right? And since it's a positive number, we say plus 1, okay? So this is your expression here, 7b, open parentheses, 2y minus 5z plus 1. That's your final answer. And if you want to check if you did it correctly, you can always multiply 7b by each term there. All right. Let's go to page 109. I'm gonna erase this. Page 109, we're going to do exercise 2b, just to give you another example of this process. Exercise 2b says 12a minus 8b plus 20c. All right, what's the first thing we're going to do? Right, we're going to factorize. So let's start with 12a. What are factors of 12a? Yeah. Next. And of course an a, right? Okay, then what's our next one? I hope you said negative 8b. Very good. But in this case, we will keep the negative sign in mind and just factorize 8 for now. So 2, 4, 8, and b. Very good. Yep, we're going to 20c. We're going to go 2. What's next? Did you remember the 10? 20 and c. All right, let's look back at our numbers and see what the greatest common factor is here. So to my eyes, it seems like it's 4, and in terms of variables, they don't really have a common one. So we can factor out 4, right? Open parentheses, and then we will start dividing. Should have left a little more space. We will start dividing each factor by 4. Okay, so 3a, then next one is negative 8b divided by what? Divided by 4. Let's simplify, right? So since it's a negative number, we put a negative sign here. 2b. Forgive me, I have to erase things here as we go. And our third one is, right, 20c divided by 4. Let's simplify again, or let's divide rather, and we get 5c. And that is your final answer for exercise 2b. Okay? All right. Now, I would like to show you an example of another type of factorization. So let's see. Let's do 2g, right? We've got 3a x plus y minus 4b x plus y. Okay, so normally we are used to factorizing a number, right? But in this case, we've got an expression that repeats on both sides of this equation, right? So we will take out x plus y, okay? And then we will put these terms inside the parentheses. So 3a minus 4b. Okay, and it works exactly the same way as if you were to do this operation with a number, right? So if we had, instead of x plus y, we would have had the number 5, right? And here too, 5, right? You would have something like 3a times 5 minus 4b times 5, right? And then we would factor out the number 5, right? We would put 5 outside the parentheses, and inside the parentheses we would have 3a minus 4b, right? In this case though, instead of number 5 or any other number, in this position here, we have an expression x plus y, right? But it works exactly the same way as if there were a number, right? So this x plus y being the common factor gets taken out front. Since it is an expression, we put parentheses around it, and then this is what we get, right? This is our final answer here. Okay, if this is unclear in any way, please come up to me and we will discuss this further. Luckily, this class is not all online, right? Okay, so let me just give you one more example from Math at Work on the same page, page 109. So it's example 3A, exercise 3A. And the exercise is 389 times 57 plus 389 times 43. So when you first look at this expression, you may not have understood how to do this in a simpler way, right? But if you say it out loud, 389 times 57 plus 389 times 43, you will notice that there is a repeating factor here, right? And that's 389. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to make your multiplication much easier, but it's going to save you some time. What do we do next here, you guys? 389 being our common factor. Okay, so we take 389 outside the parentheses, right? This is multiplication here. And then we've got 57 plus 43. 57 plus 43. It would be so silly to multiply this step by step, right? When what you get here is 389 times 100, right? And then the answer becomes so easy and so obvious. So I hope that all of your math is as simple as this. Now in section 4.4, all that you're needing to do is exercises 1 through 3, which should just take you a class period 2 on the outside. Please come ask me any questions if any of this process sounds mysterious to you at all. I'll be very happy to sit with you and explain everything before we move on. All right.